and welcome to this week's YouTube podcast. My name is Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. You can catch me for a reading on katemay.co.uk. What a week! It is the 19th, 18th of May, something like that. What a week. So last week I turned 50, big milestone, and super lucky because, you know, when I was younger, like 50 sounded so old. And even 20 years ago when I had my son, I remember thinking, wow, when he's like 19, I'm going to be 50. And when you reach 50, it actually doesn't feel, I don't feel any different in my head. My body might say differently, certainly after this weekend's antics, which I'll talk about in a moment. But it's a privilege to get to 50, the middle of the 100 milestone there. 50 years I've been on this earth. What sights I have seen, what changes, and I hate change. However, it's a milestone, and it's a privilege because so many people don't get to reach 50. So many people barely get to reach, you know, the first few years there. So, and I've lost a lot of friends over the years. Mark, he didn't make even, I think he was about between 24 and 26 when he died. Roy was 19. My son's friend was 16. Yeah, Jake, 16. My friend Kelly, she was 42. Danny was 35. So there's been a lot of friends that didn't get to make this big milestone. So I'm really pleased. I'm really grateful that I have. But what a weekend it was, because I had a bit of a do on the Friday night. Now, for my 30th, I had a big party and hired a hall, lots of people, and I just thought, you know what, I spent so much money on that, and it was good and it was enjoyable. But I was like, everyone else has enjoyed that at my cost. That's okay. But it was so stressful as well, mainly because I'd just come back from being in Spain that same week. I think I got back the day before, and I vowed never to have another party again. So on my 40th, I was up at our local pub. Don't remember too much of it. And then on my 50th, I was like, I'm not going to have a party because everyone's like, yeah, we'll come. And then on nights, it's like, oh, can't make it. And you end up with like 20 people in a room that you could put 100. And I'm not going to do that. So I just said to my local pub, going to come up with a few people. Luckily, it was a beautiful night. So we just took over the garden. And there was about 30 of us there. But I'm really pleased we didn't hire a hall, because you still got people saying, sorry, can't make it. But the best ones were there, and we had a blast. It was really good. And then the next day I went off to Amsterdam. What a stunning place Amsterdam is. I went with Karen and we had such a laugh. The first day we just about got our bearings, but we did try the cakes and the lollies and the gummies and the joints as well. Obviously it's all legal over there, so we just thought, wow, why not, when in Rome, right? And the first couple of cakes, well, we were waiting ages, hours. It was like 2 or 3 hours, and there was still like no effect. So we were thinking, oh, maybe we're just going to have a chilled weekend then. That's okay, we're enjoying it. It was a lovely break. And I have to say, it's very similar in London, as in very busy. It's very busy, but the energy is so different. It's a real chilled vibe, most likely because a lot of people are high, but it's a really chilled vibe. There's none of that noise, there's none of that beeping, except at us, because we were in the way a lot of the time. Got confused with the traffic, with the way the traffic was working, but there was no beeping, horns, no one screaming at each other. It was just really nice and chilled. So we were like, okay, we're just chilled. That's okay, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, something happened to do with a panda being top heavy, and that was it, game over. We were giggling for the next 4 hours. It was hilarious. We got into such a mess, and it was almost like that everything that we took and had been waiting for, it would almost like combined it together and just went in our brains. We couldn't stand up, we couldn't walk properly. Honestly, we were a mess. And it was brilliant. It was really good. But that mess carried on till the next day. It lasted a long time. And then, most likely because we were bad, and I'm not talking like, there's things I can't ever share with people, put it that way. There's, if there's ever CCTV, if there's any video footage of us, oh my goodness, that will be game over. And the thing is, in Amsterdam, they're beautiful people, but the bikes, if you've ever been, it's like the bikes are number one, and the bikes have their own road, which I didn't realise first of all, so I thought they were riding on the pavement. So I'm walking what I thought was pavement, and it's a bike road. So then you get the beep 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 ding ding, and the bikes come first, definitely, even before cars. But the roads are kind of broken into like 4 different parts, so you think that you've got over, or I thought got over the bike bit, and I'm like, oh good, thank God for that. And then a car comes, and oh my God, so I moved to the next bit, and it's the bike coming the other way, and it was very confusing for a little while, but especially after we'd had what we'd had, it was, I don't know how we didn't get run over, I don't know how we got home. It was hilarious. So lots and lots of good memories made there. So I wanted to share, actually, and when I came back, it was so good. When I came back, I was really ill. I had started another bout of tonsillitis. But what was weird this time, so I normally get tonsillitis a few times a year, quite bad. A couple of years ago, I had hypnosis done on it. A friend of mine, Sue Owen, offered to do hypnosis to see why I keep getting it. And we went back we had a regression, went back into my past lives, and we pinpointed some areas. And I have to say, even though it's come back, since then, it's not been as bad. It really hasn't been as bad. It's lasted not as long. But this time I had it, it was bad. I was thinking, oh my God. In my head, I was like, I've done all my Feng Shui. I don't understand it. My centre of my house is really tidy. The west area of where the lungs are, I think it is, that's all okay. And I've got all my things in place and remedies, and there's blah, 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 blah. And I think, I don't understand why I'm still ill. And then I thought, do you know what? Sometimes it is what it is, isn't it? We always kind of want to blame it on something or have a reason for it. And at the end of the day, we're human. So we've got to go through these bugs and things. And my immune system is weak. I've got ME, I've got underactive thyroid. So I've got a bad immune system. But this is my thing. Within 24 hours, which is the quickest ever, I was all right. I was absolutely all right. And normally it's at least 3 days. It used to be a good week. Then when I had the regression done with Sue, it reduced easily by half. But it still lasted about 3 days. This time, 24 hours. It was just such a quick turnaround. And it was like one night was so bad. 24 hours were bad. And then I was like, this is weird. This is weird. All I felt was a little bit tired, a little bit weak. But what's today? Sunday. So I would have had it a week ago. No, just over a week. Just under. It was in the airport on the Monday. I started to get the shivers a little bit. And again, I normally get the shivers for about 3 days before the antibiotics kick in. Didn't even get them for, I'd probably say, half a day this time. So whatever I've done in the Feng Shui way has worked. It might not stop it completely, but it's definitely minimised it, absolutely, and got me back just feeling like 10 times better. I feel like amazing. It's weird. It's weird. So yes, it's been a week. It's been a week of lots of fun, celebrating with lovely people, and then recovering, shall we say. Now, one of the other things I wanted to share is what's going on in the planetary lineup, and I didn't even look. So I do know that this week, as far as the tarot goes, so using the tarot from my own book, Tarot Diary 2025, we know that this week is the for 2 days anyway, for the Monday and the Tuesday this week, it's the 7 of Pentacles. So it's about persevering and looking at your worth, where you want to be perhaps in the long run. And this could be a couple of days where you're just thinking, am I on the right path? Is this what I really want to do? But persevere for the moment until things have become a little bit clearer. Then on the Wednesday, the 21st, we move into the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords energy is really about our thinking pattern, how we can think outside the box. We might start to feel a bit frustrated. We might feel a bit trapped. But we've got to ask ourselves, where there's a will, there's a way. How can we help a situation? What can we do about a situation? It's not a no. It's a yes, but we just need to wangle things a little bit more. So we've got a lot to do with our minds this week and how we're going to think bigger, but also how we're going to think outside the box. Now we have on Wednesday also the sun moves into Gemini, which is an air sign, which again is all to do with your mind. But the sun in Gemini is fun. It's a lot of harmony energy. It's time to flirt a little bit, have some fun. Don't make too many big decisions when the sun goes into Gemini, because Geminis can be a bit indecisive, so it's not the time to make hard, fast choices. And the Seven of Pentacles that we've got at the beginning of this week certainly tells us just to keep going and have patience while we muddle through what it is or where we want to go. So as the sun moves into Gemini, you may see different sides of situations. You might find that things are highlighting for you the good side of someone or something, or the bad side of someone or something there. Now, astrology wise, what's going on, I did make a few brief notes before I came on. It is a good week for some awakenings there. We have the core energy is obviously the sun in Gemini here, so we're going to need to be a bit more adaptable. We're going to need to be, or we want to be perhaps a little bit more curious there. And certainly communication. Gemini rules communication. So talking about things, communicating about things, making choices and decisions with others there. A really good time for networking and for learning and enhancing and mixing with others as well. Gemini season encourages fun, exploration and embracing new perspectives is what I've put. We have Saturn entering Aries on May the 24th, and this is the beginning of a 2.5-year cycle focused on personal responsibilities, leadership and initiating projects. This transit urges individuals to take charge of their ambitions and lay down solid foundations for future endeavours. And again, with the Seven of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords, it's all about what's done for the long term. How can we make things happen here? So that's very exciting. And what is exciting, I've been saying to a couple of people recently, I kind of feel like I've got 2 more years of doing the things I want to do, and then I feel like I'm going to plateau a little bit. I'm on the way to plateauing, and I don't know if that's turning 50. I feel a little bit less ambitious than what I did certainly when I turned 40. I feel like a bit more calmer with the energies now, and I just feel like there's a couple of tick boxes that I want to tick, and then I think I might be all right. However, every time I think I'm getting where I want to go, then I always come up with a new idea, so we'll see where that goes. But it's interesting that we have the Saturn entering Aries. Aries my moon sign, so that's interesting for 2.5 years. Also on May the 24th, big days this week, we've got Mercury aligning with Uranus. Now Uranus is the planet of sudden changes and surprises and evolution, revolutions, and really insights here and unexpected news. And it's very big at the moment because it's in Pisces. It's just come out of Aquarius. It's come out of Aquarius and it's now moved into Pisces. It's comfortable in Aquarius because Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about AI and forward thinking, and that's obviously what's come up there. But now it's moving into Pisces. Uranus in Pisces is like dreams really can become reality through big changes, but it's spiritual stuff. This is going to be big cosmic things happening, big awakenings happening. So Mercury, which is the planet of communication, when that goes conjunct Uranus, either whatever way you say it can indicate sudden insights, bright ideas, and certainly thinking outside the box. So that's actually good as far as the tarot goes with the Eight of Swords, and we've got that energy of like, I don't know if we can do this, are we blocking ourselves? That Mercury conjunct Uranus is really going to help move us forward with our ideas there. And technology, because Mercury rules technology, so we could find that there's better communication around technology. Great week to do your website. I think I might be doing that. So really good week to be doing your websites, to be doing any new branding, or to be coming up with some perhaps add-ons for things there. on the well, we're still in the full moon in Scorpio's energy from the 12th of May here. So it peaked on the 12th of May, but it continues to influence this week. So we're still letting things go, especially past energies and past things that no longer serve us, to make way for the new beginnings here. So big astrology, breakthrough illusions, technology and ideas around technology, creative and artistic revolutions coming in, and big spiritual awakenings coming in this week with that Uranus in Pisces. So exciting as far as astrology goes there. So that's your weekly news report, if you like, mystical news report. Let's talk about something that I like to talk about, symbols. I have spoke about symbols before, but it's come back up again in topic this week with one of my clients. And there's two things I want to share around this with symbols. One is to do with a reading, that the way that spirit use you or put an impression on you. And that's just reminded me, but I might share that for another time actually. When I was in Amsterdam at the weekend in a park, just after I'd done what I needed to do and was flat on my back in another space world, I did have a spiritual epiphany. But I'm going to say that because slightly off topic. Let's do that next time. It's all about the soul. It's all about the soul and the spirit and a little bit about reincarnation. So we'll do that next time. However, the impressions that they give you, that's where it came from, because basically what they said to me is what we think isn't what it is, but it's the closest that we can get you humans to think, because you think in such a different way to what the spirit world actually is. So whatever we think it is, it isn't, but it makes us comfortable to think that it is, so that'll do for the minute. But one of the things that they definitely do is highlight things around you. They will bring you signs and symbols, whether that's in your dreams, whether that's in your awake when you're conscious, but they will do. And that's where the power of communication comes in. And I had a client this week, two actually I want to share. And one of them, I said to, I can't remember whoever come through. I think it was her son actually. I think it was her son. And I'd said, you must be able to communicate with your son. Might even been a daughter. Anyway, whoever it was. And they said, yes, that's right. They do chat still. And I said, I think it was a daughter, actually. Yeah, pretty sure it was a daughter. And she said, yes. Yeah, it was. And it was her daughter who'd had a son. That's it. That's where the confusion comes in. It's very confusing sometimes when you're working, because you're not on the same planet as your normal brain is. So things can get a bit blurred when you go back over them again. Anyhow, the point is they did communicate. And it wasn't necessarily just through dreams. It was through sat there quietly talking and sending and getting information. And that's brilliant for her, absolutely brilliant for that mother. And that's really what everybody wants to be able to do, is to connect and to communicate. And there's no point like phoning someone up and then saying nothing down the phone. So although the spirit world are always around us, communicating with them, speaking to them, keeping their memory alive, but activating them, it absolutely it's going to enhance things. It's going to work. I was told a long time ago, let them rest now, don't worry about disturbing them. They're not disturbed. If they don't want to come to you, they won't come to you. You can't force a spirit to communicate with you, so that you're not disturbing them at all. It's part of their evolution, it's part of their growth there. So the signs and symbols, now this can be different for everybody, and it should be different for everyone. I think it shouldn't be all man-made and like this means that and that means that. I think it's really important that you should be able to conjure up your own dictionary of symbol signs there. It makes it extra powerful for a start. If everyone has the same thing, it's going to weaken the power. But it just makes it more unique to you. Now, I'm not going to share all of my symbols, obviously, but I am going to share some general symbols there. Feathers is a big one. but the feathers have to be not where there is a load of other duck feathers. I remember being in Benidorm once, and we were talking about the girl I was talking with. We were talking about her dad part that had passed, and then we saw a feather. We had been drinking as well at that point, and we saw a feather, and we were like, oh my god. I think one like literally came down, like, oh my god, a feather. And we're talking about your dad. Oh, amazing. And then when we stood up, we were like in a park, and there was like 1,000,001 duck feathers. So not sure that counted really. So be sensible with it. But feathers will absolutely be a sign. And I've seen so many feathers in random places. I've shared a story before when I've done healing on somebody, and you know, before you would do a healing, you tidy your room, don't you? Clean your room. I'm a big fan of feathers. So if I'm going to see a feather, I'm going to pick it up. And we're doing the healing, talking about his mum that had passed. And then he looks down, he says, I suppose you're going to tell me that that feather was there before, wasn't there before. And I was like, it absolutely wasn't. We were in my conservatory, the doors were closed, there was no windows, there was no way that that feather could have got in. And because it was such a big feather, I would have got excited if I'd seen that before he'd come in, and I would have picked it up. So there's no way it was there before. So they do the, yeah, feathers. And I have little colour schemes. Again, I'm not going to share mine because you have to figure out yours. And that takes some time of trial and error. But I have black will mean something, white will mean something, grey will mean something there, and the off colours there that will mean something. So try and get your own little symbols with that. The same as pennies and 5p's, 10p's, pounds if you're lucky. Money, finding coins in certain places. I have one particular coin that is a huge symbol, huge symbol. But finding different coins in different places, random places, can be big as a big symbol there. It's metal energy, which is good for them to be able to manipulate. Other signs, butterflies, rainbows, and the colours on the butterflies, ladybirds, different insects, dragonflies there. So many different symbols, number plates, numerology or angel numbers. On your phone, 111, how many times do you look at that? How many times do you look at the clock, and it will be 11:11 or 12:12 or something. So all these little symbols come around, and then what we've done as humans is made them into something. But it's really much better if you make them into something for yourself. So 11:11 might mean something for a general person, but actually for you it could be something totally different. Just like all the chakra colours. Some people might get blue around their throat, other people might get red around their throat. It doesn't matter, it's what works for you. So keep your ears and eyes out for symbols. And one of the things I wanted to share again is, as far as the way that they work with me, anyway, spirit work with me, is when I'm doing a reading, I will be drawn to certain things around the room that will flash up as a symbol for me. So if I'm drawn to, if I was working from my living room, which I don't, but if I was, I could be drawn to the plants, and that would make me feel like, oh, I'm a gardener. Not just I like plants in the house, because that's pretty common, isn't it? But it would lead me into maybe working in gardens or in a garden centre or being a gardener there. Anyhow, this week I right opposite my room, I've got all my certificates in the frames above my couch, and I've got gold frames. I friggin' love gold at the moment. I've got gold frames, decorate everything in gold. And talking to this client, and I can feel her mum's energy building, and I say blah blah blah, yeah, that makes sense, blah blah blah. And I'm so aware that she's there. It's like a daydreamy, like I'm talking to the lady, but I'm aware that this woman is there as well. And it's a weird place for your head to be in. It's kind of daydreamy. It's like you're watching two TVs at the same time, and you're a bit aware of that, and you're a little bit aware of that. That's the only way I can describe it. Anyhow, and she says that I say to her, like, there's something about being decorated or something, and this voice was like clear as a bell, like, I love the colour, loving the colour. So I said, she loves the colour, absolutely loves the colour that you've chosen to redecorate whatever it was, a chair. And I'm drawn to this gold. I'm really drawn. And it's almost like all of a sudden, I feel like she's so impressing this gold on me that I'm not even conscious properly. And I know I say like to her, and you know, the colour gold, she loves the colour gold of it. And it absolutely blew the lady I was reading for away, because she hadn't told anyone that gold was going to be the colour. But it, not only did I could hear her say it, but it was the way that she shone all this light around all this gold and really made the gold stand out. I need to talk about the gold. And then it went on to lions. And I could see these two lions that just flashed at me, just really stood out. So when you're working, or when you're, whether it's working like I work, or whether it's just, you know, your day-to-day living and you see your symbols there, really pay attention, because they will highlight them for you. They will. They must think we're nuts a lot of the time, because they're probably like, we're trying to give them all the signs, we're trying to show them. They're not seeing it. I don't think we're awake half the time. So try and be more awake of what your symbols are around you. Be super grateful, because gratitude enhances abundance there. So thank them for sharing their knowledge, their space, their signs, their symbols. Thank them. Every time I see this particular coin, which means something, every single time, I know what's going to happen, and I'm so grateful and thank them for it. And every time I do a reading, I'm so thankful for what comes in. So being grateful for what you've got is big in having more of that. And it's just polite anyway, isn't it? There, but yes, so that's what I wanted to share with you this week, that the symbols and signs can come in any form. It could be in your sleep, it could be waking. What's good about your sleep is you're super relaxed, and you may be able to start having a real strong conversation. You might not always remember it, but you can remember the feeling, and you can train yourself. I've trained myself, it's exhausting at times, but I've trained myself to have, what's that dream? You're in control. I'm such a control freak, where you're in control of your dreams. Lucid dreaming. So in my dream, I can change things around, and I'm aware of it. But in my dream, I can be aware that I'm talking to my spirit guide, or talking to my nan or my granddad, my stepdad, and it's telepathy speaking. You don't see their mouths. They're usually just smiling. But it's, you know what they're saying, because it's just through the mind. And so I not always remember what they're going to say, but I get the crux of it in there, and I say to myself in the dream, you know, you're not going to remember it, but remember what the answer is, or remember what the main feeling is. And it will be a yes or no, or a good feeling or bad feeling. And that's the bit that I bring back to my living. That's the little bit. Expecting time, if I was to practice a bit more, I could do a little bit more and remember more of the conversation. But for the minute, it's just, this conversation doesn't bother me. It's the energy that it's wrapped up in. So just see what happens when you go to sleep tonight. See what happens when you're conscious, aware of that you can communicate and you can send your thoughts out there, but also that they can with you, with signs and symbols. And pay attention to what's around you. If you're doing a little sitting in the power, or doing a little meditation, or just picking a tarot card. I mean, tarot cards are absolutely, I might get my glasses, absolutely flooded with symbology. Now this one, let's just grab this one. Obviously these are based on the Rider-Waite. A lot of oracle cards are also steeped in different symbolisms, but the Rider-Waite card, some tarot cards aren't at all, but the Rider-Waite one. So in here we've got his green boots. So green, prosperity, money, wealth. We've got the scales. So we're balancing things out here. We've got the castle in the background. So we've got some security, or something to do with stability. And obviously we've got coins, we've got money that's going out, but we've got, with the scales, we've got two people. So we've got the sharing going on. Now, if you look closely, though, it's even gone down to the person in the hat. Now, the person in the hat, wearing a hat, signifies that you're a worker, that you're a grafter. And perhaps the person without a hat is like, I'm just a beggar. So we're going to, in this card, for example, he's like, well, I'm going to help the person who helps himself. So it reminds you, actually, we're going to help the creative people in on the orange there. And the man in blue is still begging, but he's not having any attention at the moment. So maybe he needs to go and do a little bit of work himself to bring that balance in there. So the red, he's got his power, he's in a good, powerful position to be able to help people out. So there's lots of different symbols. Let me find one. I don't know how I got two there. One that was particular. I'm probably not going to find it now. Oh, there's so many. I wanted to talk to you about the 9 of Pentacles. Now, the 9 of Pentacles with the symbols is because it's got a snail in it, and the snail is something that I didn't find for a long time in the card. It took me a long time, many years of reading, before. I wasn't even taught about the snail in my teaching when I was taught it, but it took me a long time to realise that there was a snail in the picture. I think it might have been from someone else pointing it out to me. Oh, and yeah, and can I find it? Yes, here it is. So the snail in the picture, you might think, oh, that's insignificant. Look, who put that there? Little baby snail. But actually it reminds you that the pentacles are slow, that they're slow burning, that they take their time to slow burn. So those of you that are going to be listening to this perhaps on AirPods, you're not going to be able to see what I'm talking about. So grab your 9 of Pentacles at home or have a Google. But in the card as well, we've got lots of fruition. We've got lots of grapes. So the grapes, great symbol of fruition, bearing fruit, fertility as well, Persephone. The colours of gold and green and red. So it's all very royal colours, rich colours, which indicate the richness that the 9 of Pentacles brings. So the symbols are everywhere in everything, and they will 100% use whatever they can to get some kind of communication going. So just have a little feel and think and see where your eyes wander to, see where your eyes go when you're next communicating, or when you're next want some answers. And some of you might not be mediums or even want to be mediums, but if you just want to sit and get a bit of clarification, sit in your room and just look around. What are you drawn to? Is it a plant? Do you need to grow? Do you need to nurture yourself a bit more? Is it an area in your room that needs a blooming good dust up? Maybe that's your wealth area, the southeast. Maybe it's telling you need to come and see me for a Feng Shui consultation. Maybe it's just something that draws your mind. Maybe it's a book you could grab and you just open the page and it will have a profound sentence in there. There's so many things that you can do to get inspiration that you will be drawn to there. So how exciting that you can do that. So there we have it for another week from myself, Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. Enjoy what the week entails. I'm off to the Olympia, Amsterdam to London, the Olympia in London next weekend, the 24th weekend. And interestingly, we've had with Gemini, the sun in Gemini, talking about social and mixing. This is going to be a huge mixing for me. I'm doing a talk on Feng Shui and Tarot and manifestation at the Olympia on stage. So at Friday at 11:30. So really looking forward to that, and selling some books and some of my cards. Unfortunately, my Mystic Message card, which should have been there, will not be there. Ivory Printers has let me down big time. So yeah, I won't have those cards, but I will have my other ones there until they sell out, because there's only 50 decks left and some books. But I will have information on our psychic cruise that's coming up in September, and on how you can book a Feng Shui consultation or tarot reading. And if one of those does appeal to you, just message me. You can get a free discovery call now from me for Feng Shui, or you can book a reading. And if you go on my website, you'll see information on the psychic cruise as well. So check out katemay.co.uk. Have a beautiful week. Mystic blessings, everybody. See you next time.